Well, good afternoon again, everybody. My name is Lynn Gardner, and it's so good to be with you guys this afternoon as we take on this exciting topic. I'm very fired up about it, and I think you'll probably be able to sense my excitement as I share with you. But we're going to be talking about something that consumers are buzzing about. I to tell you a little bit about my background, so you know why I'm excited, how this can fit so beautifully into your real estate business. So thank you for your time and attention this afternoon. Just so you know, it's going to be about 30 minutes long. If you have questions or comments or whatever, I'm going to open it up at the end and I'll be glad to address them before we conclude. But it'll be about 30 minutes long. And again, I'm so glad you guys are with us. But you know, as we look at the real estate world, it's very important that some people miss this, and that is that you really need to have a spin. You know, we don't accomplish that with fruit baskets and things like that. We need to spend something that will, make us stand out. When you get the right spin, and I trust me, I know what I'm talking about, and I'll share how it worked for me, but you can stop chasing new business, like a hamster on a wheel. I see it out there all the time. People saying, how you getting leads and where you getting, the market's about to do a little shift, and people are going to be, really out there fighting for those leads. So I just want to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way where you fight for it every day of your real estate career. And you can get yourself positioned to have referrals for life. If you look at the accomplished realtors out there, the top producers, if you will, the majority of their business comes from referrals, right? They don't have to go from one transaction to the next chasing a new deal. And so we're going to look at something that will help you get there. But that is something, guys, doesn't happen by mistake. You have to have a plan. It's actually something you creatively create. And that's what we're talking about today. Some people say, what in the world has inspired all this? Well, I do a lot of stuff, and I can tell you that as I see people say, how are you getting leads? What are you paying for your leads? I just comment back around to everybody who recently purchased a home and show them a way to get it paid off in a fraction of the time. I mean, that's pretty simple stuff, right? And it really is that simple for all of us. And so most of the clients want to, are on schedule to knock it out in a fraction of the time. How much will they love you if you go back to the people you sold to and say, hey, guess what? I got good news. And we're going to go over that just in a second. But that's what inspired this. Some people say, well, if you got something good going on, why are you sharing it with everybody else? Well, that's the way I roll, first of all. But I do believe to whom much has been given, much will be expected. I've always, and I'm not saying this in a bragging way, but I've always given back to my world. I served on the board in real estate for consecutive terms, at the NAR. I've created courses and designations and speak to people all the time trying to help them, because I believe that there's no such thing as doing too much of a good thing. And so what we're sharing today is something I believe in with all my heart. And there's no such thing as too many people out there doing something good. And so that's why I'm sharing today. But again, a little bit about my background. When I got into real estate, I want you to know I didn't just, go to real estate school and buy some cards and try to hang a shingle. Oh, no. I was very blessed because I came out of a marketing career. I was pretty good in that world where I was able to do business development and marketing and build a fortune, frankly, just by having a spin. The spin is so important. So when I got into real estate, I didn't just come in and get business cards. I came in with a spin. And so I developed an auction program, what we call pro broker was how we labeled it at the time. And, I was teaching agents and bringing this whole network of people together to accelerate the sale of real estate. And so, that I was recruited into the largest independently owned real estate company at the time. We had 20,000 agents, 265 offices. It was pretty wild. But my phone, guys, I didn't have to chase business because I came up with a spin that was unique. And because of that, my phone rang. I didn't chase it. And that's what I want for you. If nothing else, at the end of this call, I want you to see that, it doesn't have to be that way. I've proven that. Okay. So you need to spend, you need something unique, something that, will make you stand out. And not only that, it's not like a branding thing where some people wear a hat or they brand their dogs. I mean, it's not that kind of thing. You need a spin that makes sense for your world in real estate, right? But it also needs to have a little stick to it. That's a marketing term where, it's got to have a long lasting benefit, something that goes well past the closing, something you don't have to keep doing over and over again, like having block parties and whatever it is you do, right? It's a long lasting benefit. It's an ongoing reminder of you and the quality service you gave your clients, something that's not easily forgotten. So it's that stick factor that will keep a business, agent or brokerage front and center long after the transaction. So you need to spend something that's different, that fits in with what you're doing, but it's got to have a little stick to it. And boy, have we got it here. So real estate professionals, as you know, spend a fortune attempting to retain those clients for life, right? Get the referral business. But, all you ever need to do is to, have something of value that you put before your clients, not just the closing. Here's some fruit, here's some flowers, here's a gift certificate. No, you need to put something of value them before them. And so it's that spin with stick that will work every time. Before I get going too far, I just want to, share a marketing piece with you. And I want you to just imagine, okay, try to visualize your real estate business and imagine what this would look like for you. This is a postcard that goes out to people who recently bought, right? And the postcard, I learned from my previous auction world, believe me, it has a lot of power if you put their house picture on the front of that card. Nobody in the world is going to receive a postcard, with their picture of their home on it and not read it. And so from a marketing standpoint, I just want to point out a couple things here where it's a picture of their home. And then it's like a quick message here, kind of making an impression to have that paid in full on their property. Most people will be saying, yeah, right. Wouldn't that be nice? But it's a visual that makes them think. And then it says, it was our honor to assist you in the purchase of your new home. Now that the dust is settled, we'd like to show you how you can build equity almost overnight and pay it off in a fraction of the time. Let's talk. Guys, that's powerful. Thanks. So you're circling back around. You're not sending another fruit basket or something that's the value is going to fade almost overnight. You're coming back to them with a very strong message. Not only did I care about your investment, not only did I work hard to find your dream property, now I want to show you how to knock that out in a fraction of the time. Now, I know, because I've been one of you for a very long time, we frankly have done a disservice to people when we've said, well, why would you want to pay off a mortgage? Well, guys, why? Because you start building wealth when you get a handle on the debt. So nobody needs to carry that for an unnecessary amount of time and pay, tens of thousands, maybe for some hundreds of thousands in interest that they don't have to pay. So we believe in, going from debt to wealth. And the way you free them up is show them a way to get there. And so I want you to imagine what your business would look like if you produced a card like that and sent it out to not just your people. You could send it out to anybody that's purchased a home by any agent after the closing. So just imagine what that would look like. Listen, times have changed, right? I can still remember my auction business. By the way, I did 5,000 transactions as I was working the auctions that way, and it was very busy, obviously. Listen, I'm not good at everything. Okay. I can look at that paper map and I can figure out the main roads, but I'm not the one to map it out. So sometimes if I was working my local regions, Maryland, Virginia, DC, we would have to map out the route for auctions. I might have 15, 20 auctions in a day. So I had people assigned on my team to do nothing but map out my whole course of auctions. They couldn't anticipate, oh, that road's closed, or, oh, there's a construction site, or, uh-oh, there's an accident ahead. Couldn't anticipate anything, but they tried to get the best route for me so that I could show up on time and do what I do. But then along came a GPS. Well, who in their right mind is going to use that map these days when we have the benefit of a GPS that can anticipate things we can't anticipate on our own, right? And so our world has changed that way. We went into a GPS and life was completely paradigm shift. Well, what if it was that way for your finances? People kind of live in the caveman techniques, right? They look at a paper map and say, well, this is how we're going to get there. But what if you could apply a financial GPS, a system of algorithms that, Einstein would have trouble coming up with, that could actually show you the best way, the best route, the quickest way to get to zero, or the quickest way to get rid of the debt, kind of thing. And of course, it does go beyond that and talk about wealth. But who in the world is going to keep doing these, dinosaur techniques when we have the ability for a GPS? And that's what we're talking about today. Now, listen, I'm not going to go into the big details of this program. It's technology. We would be here for an hour or two, right? I want to talk to you about marketing and how this will, really blow up your business if you embrace it. So bear with me as I share just highlights of that with you. Again, who would choose to struggle to get from point A to point B financially if there's a financial GPS to get there? And the answer is nobody would. And so that's why consumers are flocking to this revolutionary tool. That's why, listen, consumers look at their real estate agent to know these things, right? And so that's why it's important that you get on board, because they're already getting on board. And so you need to understand that it's a tool that they're looking for. And why would you want to lose out on that? Not only that, why would you not want to offer them the best tool for their financial future that way? Now, I know how many skeptics there are in the world. I worked with thousands of other real estate agents, and frankly, I'm one too. But I just want you to know, just because you haven't heard of what we're sharing today doesn't mean it's not good and doesn't mean it's brand new. Okay, so the company that created this financial GPS that you'll introduce to your clients was nominated by Wells Fargo 16 years ago or so, right? For the Entrepreneur of the Year award for financial services. And the company was awarded that. If you don't know about that award, you need to maybe look into it. They scrutinize everything. In fact, that award is quite an honor. It's one that Starbucks, Microsoft, eBay, Apple, Amazon, they were recipients of this award too. So just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean doesn't exist, and doesn't mean it's not good. So just taking care of the skeptics right away. I want you to know that I said I'm not going to share a bunch of the detail. I mean, we're talking about a GPS and algorithms, right? I'm not sharing all that with you right now, but somehow you made your way to this call. So whether you got an email or somebody text you something, whatever that was, that person, or however you found your way here, you're going to get a video. So listen, it's going to be 8-9 minutes long, maybe. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, and do your clients and customers a favor, and take those 8 or 9 minutes and look at that video. It's life-changing, okay? So it's coming your way after the call. Take a look at it. But, we want you to, join in with the industry. The consumers are already getting on board, as I said, and, we believe that it is the right thing to do. It's not just the right thing to do for every individual client. It's the right thing to do for all of us, right? To be able to have more security in our finances, to be, more flexibility moving forward, to be able to build wealth. And so, we hope that you will join as a real estate professional with us across the country. I know what the questions are, because again, I've dealt with a lot of you. And the questions are, what's in it for my clients? Why would they even want to do this? Well, the first is, saving money. Why would we, pay all the interest? The bank loads up, which frankly is, we look at the surface. We don't understand, interest a lot of times. And so people will look at the surface. I got a 2.75% interest rate on my mortgage. Well, that sounds good on the surface, but, when it's amortized over there, it's like highway robbery. So who's going to unnecessarily pay interest they don't have to pay if they have a better way to handle their finances? And then there's time. Who's going to spend 30 years paying on a mortgage when they can help figure it out with the same money, not refinancing or anything, in a fraction of the time? Who would do that? So that's what's in it for your clients. And then again, we're looking at, building wealth beyond home ownership. Unfortunately, that's the way most of us look at it. We buy a home, and hopefully we buy it right, and hopefully the market goes up. Sometimes it goes down, and we feel like that's our biggest asset, and that's our biggest step toward wealth. But, that's pretty sad, right? So if we can get people to look at, let's reduce the debt, let's eliminate the debt, and then go out to build wealth in other areas, that's the way to go. So those are the 3 benefits for your clients. They're going to save time, they'll save money, and they'll be able to go from debt to wealth. They're looking beyond just home ownership. It's a great thing to have home ownership, but boy, we're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. And frankly, our industry has done a lot of that damage. Why would you want to pay off a house? Why? Because the sooner they pay it down, the sooner they can reinvest in something else. So that's what's in it for your clients. Listen, there are banking principles. Obviously, we're not in the banking industry. Even if you're a mortgage broker, your knowledge, frankly, is limited. We don't know it all. In the real estate industry, most of us know about strategic payoff. So we might say to a client, hey, make 1 extra principal payment a year, the deal. That's a strategic payoff, so to speak. And we might know about interest accumulation, put your money in this account, earn interest, accumulate, and some things like that. But listen, we're not in that business. We're not in the banking business. We're in the real estate business. But there's so many things that we need to understand, right? And most people don't know. And this system or this program takes care of it all. Things like offsetting accounts. How do you offset a home equity line or a line of credit? Most of us don't know that. We know what those loans are, but we don't know how to offset them. How many people understand, the difference between an open loan and a closed-ended loan? We often don't know that. How many understand how to cancel interest? How in the world do you cancel it out? Well, your financial GPS knows how to do that. We don't know how to do that on our own. How many people know how to float and how to leverage, how you float interest? And a good example of that would be if you have a credit card, you spend like crazy during the month, pay it off before the billing cycle. You've been able to float that interest. You won't pay interest. But how do you leverage it? And that's something, again, most of us don't know. And we don't know necessarily the sequence of getting out of debt. What's the thing I should pay off first? And although most of us would look at our accounts and say, well, let's knock out the highest interest first, it may not be that way. So a financial GPS will determine the sequence. Most of us just frankly take a guess. And then we don't know about the timing, when do we pay what and that sort of thing. We just don't know. We're living with that paper map, dealing with just the very principles of banking, totally blind to what's ahead, and the system is looking at what's ahead. Well, you all know, whether you're in real estate or you bought real estate, what an amortization schedule looks like. That lower right hand corner is a simple, obviously, amortization schedule. You and I both know, again, I've closed 5,000 transactions. People put their blinders on. Most people, if they saw what that loan looks like amortized over 30 years, they choke up and get scared to go to closing. Most of them don't look at it, right? And so this particular schedule is a $300,000 mortgage, and it has a 3% interest rate. Okay, just so you know what it looks like. Well, if you get down just to the fifth line 5 here, right, and you look at the year-to-date interest paid, you paid $42,000 in interest just in the first 5 years. There is a better way, and so the system will take care of all that. We'll take a look at the individual finances and help that guide them to zero. What if you didn't have to pay all that $42,000 in the 5 months? What else could you be doing with the money? Paying off other debt or building wealth, right? So we don't understand the banking principles, but you know what? We don't need to understand the banking principles. Now, I put up, just for the sake of showing you something, that once you watch that video, a lot of other things will make sense. But this is what we call a debt-free report. In other words, we don't count information, stuff like that, but we get, what is the debt? What is the income? What does the picture look like? This is for a dear friend of mine. She's one of us. She actually is a real estate broker for 38 years. She was top producer, headed the market in Northern Virginia, and then she went to Florida. She headed the market in Central Florida. She's Barracuda. She's moved a lot of real estate, right? But unfortunately, she and her husband decided to retire to Florida. They moved to an inexpensive area in the panhandle of Florida. And, she kept telling me, I don't know, I can't believe I sold real estate all these years and I'm just racking up debt again. How am I going to retire? What am I going to? It really bothered her because at the time she was like 71, I believe. And she said, I don't want to die and leave all this debt. This is supposed to be the field I know so well. So because we're friends, because we have a trust thing, that because we've worked together, she did give me the opportunity to be able to do this report, right? And so I tell you, you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen that she's saving 19.3 years. When you're 71 years old, you can't even imagine you live long enough to pay off that 30-year mortgage. But for her and her husband, based on their numbers, they'll be debt-free in 4 years. I want to tell you something. My friend wept. She had a 4-year, the 4 years was there, but now she's got a little under 2 years. She's not only excited, she's looking at investing, but it gets even better. So it's not just the time, 19.3 years, she's saving. She's also, saving a ton in interest, right? So $112,000 in interest. She's a real estate broker. She understands the power of that. So that's what it looks like once we're able to meet with you and get your debt-free report. No obligation, of course, just to see, what does that GPS say? When does it say I'll arrive at my destination? The same as when you plug in information in the GPS in your car, right? So again, she's not only thinking about, hey, get this paid off and then I can, go retire at the beach. She's looking at building wealth. And this is also on the right-hand side. It's just a screenshot of a very short video. For you realtors, you need to watch it because this is really pretty true for her. You'll see on this couple's monitor, they have a $225,000 market. That's pretty much the average home for my friend in the Panhandle. And then an anticipated $1,400 a month in interest. So the moral of the story is, based on those numbers, they'll be able to buy, 15 properties in the same 20 years. Well, she's saving 19.3 years. It's close. So will she do that? Who knows? But I can guarantee you one thing, she's going to buy a couple of properties so that she can supplement her retirement, which she never would be able to do unless she was introduced to a financial GPS. As a broker for 38 years, she's pretty disgusted with herself, but now she's very excited about the tool we have. Listen, we got a market again that's shifting. I am not a sky is falling person. If you're in real estate, you know that some of the best money you can make is in a very challenging market. But it hasn't been that way. Last couple of years, we've had almost 1 million people get into the real estate game because the market was red hot. But when it normalizes or when it falls down, and it always resets, guys, no matter what anybody tells you, because if it didn't, my old farmhouse would be worth $1 billion. It always resets. Okay. But what I'm getting at is it's changing. Forbes did this article, printed out this article about probably spring last year. And it's very interesting. People got caught up in a frenzy, no doubt. It's like a non-auction auction, right? And when they polled people, they found that 64% of millennials, 45% of Generation X, and 33% of baby boomers already regretted their decision. They got caught up, okay, for reasons like they were overpaying for the property. Once they sit down and say, what were we thinking to escalate by that much, right? Once they settle down, they look at high maintenance costs. A lot of people waived inspections, and sorry they did, right? So they got all this expense that they never anticipated. Maybe it was location. Maybe they just, jumped on it. Maybe they bought the sight unseen, whatever it was, and they regret the location. Or maybe it was the wrong house size. We thought we could live with little, but we can't. We got to get a bigger house. Whatever the reason, there's a whole ton of people out there that would like to make a move, would like to adjust, would like to do something because they regret the decision. You know what? As long as it's at the top of the market, that is impossible. This will be my third downturn market that I've gone through. I'm a geezer, like I said, in real estate, right? The first time, basically, people sat there, they had their house listed for a year or 2 years. They couldn't cut it loose for less. So they just held on to it until eventually a buyer came around. Basically what happened until eventually the market bounced back. The last downturn we had a whole bunch of people getting bailouts. And this time, guys, they're going to be on their own. So my point is they have to get a handle on their equity so they have options. These people they polled, not a snowball's chance unless they want to write a big check. But if they can get a hold of their equity, they have options, and so would you. So again, we don't expect to recruit you out of what you're doing. That's not what this is about. You're good at what you do. I mean, you can be more involved with it if you want, but that's not what we're talking about doing. Your clients will be put in very good hands. They will be working with corporately vetted experts that would help them, put the information in so they can get their GPS going and get on the road from debt to wealth. So they'll talk about their debt elimination and their wealth accumulation. So you don't have to worry. Nobody's trying to get you to get off track from what you're already doing. They're going to be in very good hands with a corporately vetted person. So yeah, again, listen, I'm not going to mince words. We want you to get on board with us. We want the motto of our company is buying back America one family at a time. And again, I'm not a sky is falling person, but when you look at the national debt, where we are financially, you have to know that something's going to shift. And when it does, probably going to be pretty big. So personally, I think that we all owe our client base, the truth. When we find something good, we need to introduce it so that they can be a better, more comfortable, more financially rewarding position. So yeah, we do want you to get on board with us, no doubt about it. But why? Another reason to do that, again, we're not trying to get you off track, but listen, the most successful real estate businesses, bar none, always have more than one profit center. Maybe your brokerage does, maybe you do already. They always have one. The broker that brought me in to do the auctions, I mean, it had everything from new homes, relocation, auction, general brokerage, the whole 9 yards. The successful ones always do. Why? Well, because they've added value, right? If you come here, we're like a one-stop shop. No doubt that was their motto, but also one feeds the other. And so if you get something that, meshes with your real estate business like this does, one's just going to be feeding the other. You might talk to somebody about, maybe somebody not on the market, not talking about getting on the market, and talk to them about a financial GPS. And you know what? Who are they going to call when they're ready to list? So it does go hand in hand. The wealthiest people in America have always had more than one profit center. Nobody puts their eggs in one basket, guys, if they have an opportunity not to. So why would you not maybe earn referrals for something like this? Put it into your profit center, something, for helping your clients and customers beyond the closing table. So the potential for more real estate referrals is absolutely immeasurable if you embrace this and if you introduce it right, and we're glad to help you with that. So it's immeasurable. You need another profit center. If you don't have one, if you already have one, boy, I tell you one thing, nothing's going to match this, where you can go out to your clients and say, we're not only going to help you find your dream home, we're going to show you a way to pay it off. That's got some power behind it. So what do you do? Well, you can share with your clients, your past, present, future. Well, you could actually farm an area. It doesn't have to be your client list, right? The referrals, it goes all over the place because it's not a cookie cutter program, but somewhere between $500 and $1,500 is something that you can look to, and that would be earned by introducing it to a client. And if you don't want to do the heavy lifting, then it goes to a corporately vetted person. So that's one side. You can let everybody do the heavy lifting. All you got to do is the intro and do your mail outs and whatever. Or you could be like the broker I represented and dozens and dozens that I know, and set up a wealth building division of your own in your own company. Broker, again, who wouldn't want to talk to an agent? If you get a handle on the equity, you go right into another property. Guys, isn't that what we're trying to do? And so setting up a wealth building division within your brokerage or within your own company, how do you put a price tag on that? In that case, you would be trained to actually do like the debt-free report I did for my friend, or to get your agents trained so that they can do it. You can really, your involvement is all depends on your interest level. Obviously, it's just like when you sell real estate, you're going to make a whole lot more of the commission if you're actually doing a sale than you would on a referral, right? Same thing here, but your choice is yours, whatever you want to do that works for your business. This is how simple it can be. You just imagine saying, I can show you a way to pay off your mortgage and all your other debt in a fraction of the time without refinancing, without a change to your lifestyle. So I'd like to set up an appointment with one of our accelerated equity partners to share more information with you. How difficult is that, folks? You're not expected to change hats, change careers, learn all about, financing and that sort of thing. That's not what you're expected to do, but you're just expected to introduce it. So who couldn't do that? That's a pretty simple thing. And I guarantee you their antenna will go up when you tell them that you have that opportunity. So, what happens and to become an authorized agent, to be able to represent this, to speak about it, whatever, to refer and that sort of thing. It's the price has changed, by the way. It's $199. Boy, in real estate, you can't get a sign put up for $199. And so it seems kind of ridiculous for me coming out of the industry, how much you get for that, but it's $199. It's not every year. You don't get a monthly fees, a hidden fees or anything else, not a subscription fee and all that stuff. But for you to be authorized to represent this, to refer this and everything, it's $199. Most of you spill that in coffee, every week at least, right? So for that, again, it not just make you authorized to do that, but you'd have, if you decide to have a profit center, for sure, you'd have marketing videos and, websites and materials, software, like I showed you with my friend, tracking system. I mean, you get a lot of value with that. And again, coming out of real estate, it just seems so ridiculous that you would get anything of value like that for $199. But that's what it costs you to become involved. I'm not going to be making money on you. I'm not trying to, this isn't like the back of the table close for the call today. I'm just letting you know how to get involved. That's the way you do it. $199 will get you going as a referral agent. Now, I do want to give you a heads up. I told you in the beginning that, I've developed courses and designation programs and that sort of thing. One of the things that worked well for me when I was working the auctions is to elevate things up just a little bit, right? So basically, I came up with a designation so real estate agents could feel better, have a little bit more education, a little bit more tools to introduce that concept. So it helped them, help the clients, help me, right? And so there is a designation program. It's actually been developed. It hasn't been rolled out. It's supposed to be in January. Sorry for the delay, but it's called, Accelerated Equity Partners. And I think realtors are just going to gobble that up because it does sound pretty awesome, when you refer to an accelerated equity partner. Things that in the membership would be things like the press releases. There are 5 of them that you can put out to the press. And I have to tell you, in the auction business, we collected millions of dollars in marketing fees, but from our clients, right? But the biggest selling for me was press releases. So I believe in the power of them. But you get press releases to submit, all the content for your email campaigns already been developed, things like that will help you kind of, come out of the gate, with a professional image. But I want you to know, if you're on the call today way. You're a real estate agent. You're just hearing about this. I'm not saying this to, again, get your money now, but I do want you to know that when, when the time comes and you'd like to be a part of that, because you were on the call with us today, there's not going to be any cost to you whatsoever. And so just wanted to let you know, you're not going to be out there, floundering around trying to figure things out on your own. There are various ways for you, to learn more. And so guys, that's it for me. Just like I said, I'm skimming the surface, trying to stay with the whole marketing and, business development side of things. I don't need to go into the GPS itself. Again, you're going to get a video, and it's do yourself, your family, and your clients. You will be blown away. You're going to get a video that's about, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes long. Everybody's got 8 or 9 minutes. You've given me 30 minutes of your time almost. And hopefully I haven't talked too much like an auctioneer. You've been able to understand every word, but I do want to give it just a minute. If you have any questions, anything that you would like to ask now, of course we can answer them later as well, but I'm here to answer if you have any questions. Anybody out there, just unmute yourself. A whole bunch of crickets. Okay, last call. Any questions? You can unmute yourself. Okay, guys, thank you again. I'm excited to help people all across America. That's the way we roll. And, we just like to help people get where I think everybody deserves to go. If you don't live a debt-free life, I do. And I can tell you something, there's nothing like it. Okay. And so we want to help. We want to be a part of your, referral network. We want to help you any way we can. So if there's anything we can do, again, look out to the address or whatever. Yeah. When you get the video to watch, if there's anything, just ask the questions. If we need to circle back around, we will. God bless you. This is going to be repeated next week. So maybe you're scratching your head saying, well, it kind of sounds good, but I'm not sure. And maybe you want to bring your broker in or some of your associates in to have a listen for themselves next week. So look out for that invitation coming your way. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.